Hi, welcome back to Crates with Zed. Today we're looking at the Scream Fortress 16 Warpaint case. This one is probably better than the cosmetic case, judging by the expected value. The expected value is 0.96 keys, with a cost to open of 1.31 keys, which means this is a loss of 0.35 keys with each case you open. The items we're looking for, the elite grade broken record warpaint would be nice. That's 1.5 keys normally, or 37.4 keys in strange. Any of the assassin grades would also be good. They're about half a key normally, or 4 to 11 keys in strange. The rest of the items in commando or mercenary aren't worth much normally. Their stranges can be worth anywhere from 1 to 5 keys, but nothing to write home about. We're going to be seeing the elite grade items 1% of the time, the assassin grade items 4% of the time, the commando grade items 15% of the time, and the mercenary grade items 80% of the time. For uniques and stranges, we're going to be seeing uniques almost 85% of the time, we're going to see stranges 15% of the time, an unusual 0.66% of the time, and a strange unusual is whatever 15 times 0.66 is. We are basically never going to see a strange unusual in our opening videos. A lot of the expected value of this case is in the unusuals, so we have to hope that we're getting an unusual. We're going to get an unusual about half of the time we do these videos. We're doing 100 case openings today, so that gives us a 34.3% chance of one unusual, an 11.3% chance of two unusuals, a 2.4% chance of three unusuals, a 0.4% chance of 4 unusuals, and a 0.1% chance of 5 or more unusuals. We're probably not going to hit that. At the time of recording, the key price in metal is 56.44 refined, and the key price in cash is 1.76 US. If you'd like to buy some keys for cash, you could do so on manco.store. They sponsor the video, and that's where I bought all my keys and cases today. If you use any of the links in the description and make a purchase on manco.store, that helps support the channel. Okay, let's jump into the openings. Starting with number 1. We start off with a strange count transfer tool, and we continue with team charged warpaint, and that is in field tested. So that is worth 0.05 keys. Number 2. We get Gobi Glazed, and that is in field tested as well. That's worth 0.07 keys. Number 3. We get Team Detail, and that is in minimal wear. That's worth 0.12 keys. Number 4. Sleek Greek Warpaint. We'll have to see the quality in a second. And we get a strange count transfer tool. So that is in minimal wear, which is worth 0.05 keys. And then the strange count transfer tool is worth not much, if anything. On to number 5. We get Brawler's Iron Warpaint. That looks like it's factory new. Let's see if we're right. Minimal wear. That is worth 0.08 keys. Number 6. That is Blackout. That looks like it's well worn. Let's see if we're right. Yep. Number 7. That is Blackout again. And that looks like it's battle scarred. Yes, we are correct. Number 8. That is Stealth Specialist Warpaint. That looks like it's field tested or worse. That is well worn. That is worth 0.06 keys. Number 9. We have Blackout again. That looks like it's well worn. Battle Scarred. So that is worth 0.05 keys. Number 10. We get Brawler's Iron Warpaint. That looks like it's minimal wear. Let's see. Field tested. That is worth 0.06 keys. Number 11. That is Team Charged. And it is well worn. That's worth 0.06 keys. Number 12. That is Blackout Warpaint. It's looking like it's field tested. Maybe worse. We'll double check, but we have a bonus item of a decal tool. And if you're wondering, I pronounce decal in the British Columbian way instead of decal, so just a Western Canadian thing. Okay, let's check if it was field tested or not. It was. So we're on to number 13. That is Brawler's Iron Warpaint. And probably field tested. Yeah. Number 14. That is Team Detail. And it is field tested. That's worth 0.05 keys. Number 15. We've got Brawler's Iron Warpaint. It's looking nice. Field tested though. Number 16. That is Gobi Glazed. Is it field tested? It is. Number 17. That is Team Detail. We'll see if it's field tested. It is. Number 18. Ooh, we get our first Strange Blackout Warpaint. Maybe field tested. We'll see. It is. So that's worth 1.57 keys, and that's our first profitable open of the video. We're down quite a lot so far. We're down 22.76 keys so far. Oh, that's not true. That's including my trade up video. Let me fix that real quick. Well, it's not looking much different. Our total value changed down to 2.69 keys, and our loss is at minus 24.75 keys. Sorry about that error. Okay, on to number 19. We start off with a description tag. That's only worth 0.05 keys. Let's see what the main item is. That is Team Charged. And it is well worn. Number 20. We start off with Team Charged. That looks at least well worn. And our bonus item is a Tour of Duty ticket. Let's go check what that war paint was. It was Battle Scarred. Okay, number 21. That is Brawler's Iron Warpaint. And it is in Field Tested. 22. Get Brawler's Iron Warpaint again. And that is in Factory New. That Factory New is worth 0.3 keys. Number 23. That is Team Detail. And it is in Field Tested. 24. That's a Strange Count Transfer Tool. Followed by a Graphite Ripped Warpaint. And that is in Field Tested. So that's worth 0.06 keys. Not what we want. Number 25. That is a Strange Sleek Greek Warpaint. And is it Field Tested? Minimal wear. That is worth 0.62 keys. Number 26. Gobi Glazed. That is in minimal wear. So that's worth 0.05 keys. Number 27. We've got Team Charged. That looks like it's minimal wear. Let's check. Yep. Number 28. We start off with Gift Wrap. And we continue with Brawler's Iron Warpaint. That also looks minimal wear. Let's see. Minimal wear. On to number 29. Team Charged. We'll see if it's field tested. It is. Number 30. We start off with Brawler's Iron Warpaint. Maybe worse than field tested, we'll have to go check. And a Tour of Duty ticket. Let's go check the Warpaint. That is Battle Scarred. Okay, on to number 31. Blackout Warpaint. That is field tested. 32. Team Charged. That is in field tested. Blackout. We'll check. Well worn. We're on to 34. That is Team Detail. And well worn. $35. That is Brawler's Iron Warpaint. I can't tell if that's factory new or field test, or yeah, factory new. That's worth 0.3 keys. 36. We start off with Blackout. That looks like it's minimal wear. And a bonus item of a Tour of Duty ticket. Let's go check if it was minimal wear. No, it's factory new, even better. So that bumps up the value from about 0.3 keys to 1.22 keys. Very nice. Number 37. That is Necropolish. That's probably field tested, yep. That one's worth 0.14 keys. Number 38. That is Team Detail. Is that factory new? Yeah, factory new. 39. We've got Sleek Creek Warpaint, and that is in minimal wear. Number 40. We have a Tour of Duty ticket, and we also get a Gobi Glazed. That looks like it's field tested to me. Yep. Number 41. That is Brawler's Iron Warpaint. Probably field tested. And our bonus item is a dual minigame. That was a minimal wear. On to 42. Blackout. Looking pretty rough. That is Battle Scarred. 43. That is Brawler's Iron Warpaint. That is in Well Worn. 44. We've got Blackout Warpaint. That also looks well worn. Battle Scarred. 45. That is a Strange Team Charged Warpaint. Looking like it's field tested. Let's see. Minimal wear. So that is worth 0.62 keys. 46. We've got Sleek Greek. That is in at least field tested. Yep. 47. We start off with Peculiarly Drab Tint Cure. And that's followed by... Ooh, we get Piranha Mania. And that is in field tested. That is worth only 0.06 keys. Let's go to number 48. That is Gobi Glazed. That's looking battle scarred. What do you think? Let's see. Battle scarred. Number 49. That is Stealth Specialist. Maybe field tested? Well worn. Number 50. That is Stealth Specialist again. Also in Well Worn. Okay, we're halfway done. Where are we at? We spent 81 keys. We've got back 10 keys. You can see how all this value is tied up in the unusual. We haven't got it yet. So we're going to keep going, but this is, I said at the start of the video that this one feels better than the cosmetic case because the expected value is higher, but it certainly doesn't feel better when all the value is tied up in the rare item that you may or may not get. So maybe some caution to you if you're thinking about opening up a bunch of these Warpaint cases. It might feel bad if you're not opening a bunch. Okay, number 51. Team Detail. That is Battle Scarred. $52. Team Detail again. That is Well Worn. 53. Gobi Glazed. That is Field Tested. 54. We start off with Team Charged, which is maybe Field Tested, and our bonus item is a Tour of Duty ticket. That was Battle Scarred for the Warpaint. Number 55. Ooh, that looks nice. Blackout. Is that factory new? It is. Very nice. 56. We get a backpack expander. And we also get Team Detail. Our Team Detail is in minimal wear. Number 57. We start off with the Strange Count transfer tool, and we continue with Team Detail. That is Field Tested. 58. Blackout. That is Field Tested. 59. That is Graphite Gripped. And our bonus item. Ooh, our first unusual, and unusual taunt, next snap, unusual fire. That one is worth 6.6 keys. And our main item. Well, not our main item. Our bonus item is a decal tool. And that Warpaint was Field Tested. Number 60. We get Brawler's Iron Warpaint. That's Field Tested. 61. Team Charged. Kinda looks like minimal wear to me. Yep. 62. That is Sleek Greek. And that is in Field Tested. 63. Graphite Gripped. And that is in Field Tested. 64. Team Charged. Minimal wear. $65. Brawler's Iron Warpaint. That's in Field Tested. 66. That is Graphite Gripped. That kind of looks like minimal wear. It is. That's worth 0.14 keys. 67. That is a strange stealth specialist. Let's see if it's field tested. It's minimal wear. Nice. So minimal wear is worth 3.97 keys. Nice. Number 68. We've got Brawler's Iron War Paint. Probably field tested. No, it's well worn. $69. Graphite Gripped. That is field tested. 70. We get a Tour of Duty ticket. And we also get Gobi Glazed. That's field tested, I think. That is, in fact, field tested. 71. Blackout. That is field tested. 72. We get Piranha Mania. That is in well worn. Number 73. Brawler's Iron War Paint. That is field tested. 74. Team Detail. That's looking like Battle Scarred. It is. 75. Sleek Greek. That is in field tested. 76. We start off with Zephaniah's Greed. It's not worth very much. Our main item, Gobi Glazed. That is well worn. $77. That is Gobi Glazed and field tested. 78. We get Brawler's Iron War Paint. That is well worn. 79. We get Strange Blackout War Paint, but it's not looking very good. That is Battle Scarred. So that goes for 0.7 keys. Number 80. That is Gobi Glazed. That is in field tested. 81. Brawler's Iron War Paint. That is in Battle Scarred. 82. Team Detail. That is field tested. 83. We start off with a Strange Count transfer tool. And we continue with Piranha Mania. That is in Well Worn. $84. Hey, sweet. Stardust. That is in Well Worn. That's worth 0.22 keys, but that is a paint that I absolutely adore. Number 85. Brawler's Iron War Paint. That is field tested. 86. Team Charged. In field tested. 87. We've got Team Detail. Is that factory new? It is. That's worth 0.62 keys. Number 88. We start off with a backpack expander. And we continue with Team Charged. That is field tested. 89. We get a Tour of Duty ticket. And we continue with Team Detail. Team Detail is in Minimal Wear. Number 90. That is Piranha Mania. That is field tested. 91. We start off with Team Detail. And we continue with a paint, Noble Hatter's Violet. And that paint was Well Worn. 92. We start off with Gobi Glazed. Probably in field tested. We also get a Tour of Duty ticket. And we also get another unusual, an unusual taunt, spin to win unusual fire. That one, unfortunately, is only 1.85 keys. Number 93. We get Sleek Creek. That's in Well Worn. 94. We start off with a Tour of Duty ticket. And we also get Gobi Glazed. $95. Sleek Creek. 96. That's a backpack expander, followed by a Team Charged Warpaint. That is field tested. 97. Gobi Glazed. That kind of looks battle scarred. Yeah. 98. We get Team Charged. And we also get a Giftapult. That was a well-worn Warpaint. 99. We get Brawler's Iron Warpaint. And the bonus item, a description tag. And our last one, number 100. That is Brawler's Iron Warpaint. And that is in Field Tested. Okay. How did we do? Not so great. We spent 168.58 keys. We got back 31.9 keys. The items of note were probably the bonus items. We got two unusual taunts, the next snap unusual fire, and the spin the win unusual fire. And then the rest of the value I think came from bonus items. Let me check if there was any paints that was worth anything. The factory new blackout is worth 1.22 keys. And we got 2 of those. We also got a strange field tested blackout, which is worth 1.5 keys. And that was really it for value. So yeah, those 31 keys, like 5 came from the war paints and 25 came from the bonus items. So not so great today. We missed the 50% chance at an unusual. I mean, we got the unusual fires, but that's not the kind of unusual I'm talking about. Well, that's too bad. Okay. If you want to see how much each crate is worth in Team Fortress 2, I've got my website, theletterz.ca. If you come on here, the link's in the description. You can see every case and crate and warpaint. You can see the Scream Fortress 16 warpaint cases listed here. You can see all the prices I had for all my items when I made the video, and how likely each item is to come up based on what the community has found for drop rates. So stuff like the rarest, unusual broken record only comes up 0.001% of the time. And I've just thrown some placeholder prices in there at 80 keys and 60 keys. This is just to give me a good estimate of the price for the video. The ones with decimals are ones that obviously have been fetched from the Steam community market, and they weren't placeholders from me. At the top of the website, I've also got a link to my Manco store. If you want to buy anything from my personal shop, I've got a bunch of unusuals that I've got from previous videos, and it would help support the channel if you were to buy any of these unusuals or any of the other items in the store. If you click on that link and buy anything anywhere on the market on manco.store, that also helps support the channel. So if you need to buy some keys for unboxings or for trading, they've got them at $1.76 US right now, and I think that's the cheapest rate around. Also got to give a shout out to all my YouTube members, so thank you for the video support on Ghost, Galaxy, Raccoon, Ten Sheep, and Festive Morgan. Thank you to Clan Pride supporters Liquid Filth and NKS Grey. Thank you to Key supporter Crash P. And thank you to Refined supporters Mintai, Joey Cheerio, and Hammock. Thank you everyone for helping support the channel financially so I can continue doing unboxing videos like this. Okay, that's it for today. Maybe don't spend your money on the Warpaint case. I mean, I performed well below expected value because I missed the unusual, but it's only coming up 0.66% of the time, so you can't be guaranteed it. Anyways, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.